Hey YouTube, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. And there was let me say what's up to the bang, bonjour, vases los, and ni hao ma. Um anyway, there was a gentleman that left a comment that wanted me to do this video right here. And so basically in my research, I told him I was working on this, and he just kind of put the fire under me to just get me to put it out, right? So I'm putting this out, and basically this large gender gap as far as degrees is not as large as you think. Now, when you also look at that, most of the black male population are being raised by single black women, and black women intentionally do not teach direction to those black males, but teach it to the females. You would think that the number of black women versus black men in college would be way more than this, but really, when you take into account for the actual population of black women to black men, you will find that it's not as bad as black women are making it out to be. All right, so here we go, and a lot of this I am getting from the black graphics, blackdemographics.com. All right, I left the link at the bottom of this slide right here. All right, so basically, here we go. Black women should have a lead over black men in college, is because they're the ones that's raising the black boys to be idiots and gangbangers and stuff like that. Now, part of this lead is because black women can use a child to get into college where, again, I'm going to mention this again, where everyone else has to pay or work their way through college. All right? And the reason why white women, to a degree, don't have to pay is because they are being raised by generally by a two-parent household where the mother and or the father has a good enough job that they don't qualify for all the benefits that the black woman gets to go to college for free. And this is, when you look at this, a lot of these statistics, we're talking about women that start in college at age 25. So, yes, and one lady put that they're starting college is because the child is pushing them there. And we're not saying that the child is pushing them there, but we're saying that them benefits like welfare and SNAP and all the rest of the stuff, the Georgia Peach card and stuff, is getting cut off, and black women have to do something since they decided to do it by themselves. Now, the next system that they get to play is the university system, where they use the child to get them into college where they don't have to pay. All right, but as you see in this video, even though they enroll at a higher rate than anybody else because it's free to them, understand this is why they are able to do this, because it's free to them because of the child. Now, everybody say that all the grants and stuff are available to everybody. No, you get a higher grant, and you are more able to get a grant as a result of having a child than you are being single. Single people, even single black women, have to work their behinds through college. Period. All right? Black women with children, which this is most of the black female population, do not, especially if you're looking at this age 25 and up. Most of them have children. All right, so black women account for almost 50% of all African Americans who have completed a 4 years of college. So 58%. That means 42% of black men have completed college. All right. Now, when you look at it, 1 million, all right, so 1,909,000 black men completed college with a better than a bachelor's degree. There are 1 million total of African Americans incarcerated. Understand this? That's all African Americans, to include men and women. All right. Now, let's just say 80% of those is men. That's only 800,000. We still have way more men in college than incarcerated. But if you hear a black woman tell it, there are more black men incarcerated than black men exist, because we all in jail. You know, all the black men they use the word all. I haven't. A lot of dudes making these videos haven't used all, but black women use it all the time, and then tell us not to use a general phrase like black women, because it applies to most of them, and they understand this. So they say some, right, as if it applies to only a few. But the negative statistics do not apply to just a few black women. You'll see that later into this video. All right, the negative statistics apply to the vast majority of black women. Now, you would think that the degree is a positive thing for black women. As you see, as we go through this, you'll see how negative it really is. All right, so I wanted to put this up here so that I can show you that there are way more black men in college than there are incarcerated. And we're not even talking about, and that's obtaining a bachelor's degree. There are more black men not in college, but that have attained a bachelor's degree than there are incarcerated. So we're not talking about the ones that got an associate's degree, the ones that got certificates, the ones that went to trade school, the ones that went to mechanic school, the ones that went to carpentry, and all the rest of the trades. We're not counting those. We're not counting even the men that's just doing honest labor. All right. So when the black woman said there aren't any good black men, they're liars. They just love evil black men. That's basically it. So the vast majority of the women with degrees are screwing the 1 million dudes that's coming out of the 800,000 dudes that's coming out of prison. You'll see some shocking statistics further into this. So basically, if you look at these numbers, it's pretty good for black men. Now, why do I say that? It's because black women constitute 52% of the population. Right? Black females account for 52% of the population, and that means black men are only 48. So they outnumber us. So they should outnumber us in everything, like degrees and stuff, especially if they're getting it for free and the black men have to work their way through college to maintain theirs. All right? Now, even with that said, we still lead as far as the technical fields. We still lead as far as science. We still lead as far as engineering. And we still lead as far as math, science, engineering, and technical fields. All right, black men lead women by a large gap in those. What are black women getting their degrees in? They're getting their degrees in the aesthetic, social work, and a lot of them are getting it in criminal justice. Notice that they are getting it in nothing where it requires them to build. So I just wanted to pause here so that y'all could take a look at all these. This is going to be a slow moving video. Not excitable, because I want y'all to take a look at the numbers and you will see how stuff start to make sense. Now, we are going to get into the real truth. If you take a look at this to the right, this is black women versus all women. Most black women have attended college, 57%. Of the 57%, 22% end up getting a bachelor's degree when compared to all other women, 30%. 15% has less than a high school diploma, meaning they dropouts, while the dropout rate is 13% with all other women. Alright, so here we go when we get into the black female population. The black female population is 52%. The black male population is 48%. Now, why does this matter with education? It matters because of, the guy that asked me to do this, he's tired of the same old BS argument that black women think they're better than black men because they have a degree. That's it. That's what makes them better. They went to the white man. He gave them a degree almost free of charge, whereas everybody else in the United States, white men, white women in general, and black men have to work for it harder than any black woman have to work for a degree. This is why they are enrolling in college at a higher rate. They have sites specifically to tell them how to get into college for free and go through college for free. All right? So, basically, that's where the strides of black women are coming from. So, basically, 31% of black women have completed at least associate's degrees, compared to 60% of all other women who attended college. You see? So, yes, black women are passing black men as far as getting their degrees, but they're not passing anybody else. Everybody else is getting their degree at a higher rate, even though the black women have a greater number of representative in college. So even with their greater number, everybody else is still outpacing them as far as finishing and getting a higher degree. So if you look at the numbers here, 22% have bachelor's degree compared to 30% of all other women. And so when you get to associate's degree and higher, and we're talking about 25 and older, so you got 31% black women, 60% everybody else. All right, so y'all could take a look at those numbers. All right, and so basically, this is what the degreed woman brings us as black men. First of all, they go on television for the past 40 and 50 years and tell them that black men ain't SH. Black men are stupid. Black men aren't in college, even though we get more doctorates and higher degrees than them. And I didn't put up the other graph. Black women don't get the degrees in science, engineering, math, and I forgot what the L is. So they don't get the degrees in the science in anything building. Most of their degrees come in aesthetics, social work, or education. aesthetics, social work, and education. And this even goes further into this, right? So, how do we get here? Why aren't there any more black people in college or coming out of college with degrees? Why is there such a disparity between white and Hispanics and black people? Well, one of the reasons is this: the abortion rate, where black women, although they constitute only 14% of the population, in 2008, they had 69% of all abortions. All right. After that, white people have the most people, more people than black women, and black women are still tied with them almost with the amount of abortion. I'm going somewhere with this. So we have the demographics where most of the women that are 25 and older, that's everything that I've spoken before this, right? And black women you see leading the way, right? I'm going somewhere. All right, black woman. All right. So this is what you want. And this comes to you from the stress of trying to be the black man, or trying to compete with and or beat the black man, for forgetting that the relationship for black men, between black men and women, were never about competition until you made it that way about 50 years ago, 50, 60 years ago, biting in on that feminist movement that the white women gave you, that destroyed our neighborhoods, our homes, and even you. All right, this is what you've won. This is the evil that you've become. All right, and this is your punishment for that evil. 1 in 4 black African American women are uninsured. All right. Now, let me just say this. A lot of black men, the benefit from being with a lot of black men, working men, is we have benefits, but you don't want them kind of men. You want to screw the thugs, right? So you're uninsured. You have hypertension. Hypertension is more relevant or prevalent. You have, even though white women have are more likely to have breast cancer, you're more likely to die from it overall. You have the highest chlamydia rates and gonorrhea rates. You have the higher rates of human papillomavirus, HPV. You represent 65% of new AIDS cases amongst women. Unintended pregnancies. You're 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy. Also related to your hypertension. Birth rates for your girls who you can't keep in touch, keep control of. And nobody can. It's because now your girls are training everybody else to pimp the systems and be unruly to their parents and stuff like that. Even though it decreased by 7%, you have the higher premature births and infants with very low birth rate. And your infants are 2.4 times more likely to die. You have alienated good black men We now see no worth in you is because your worth is in your degree, and in a relationship, degrees are worthless. So, with all the evil you've done, with all the stuff happening to you, at least you have your degree. Shame it doesn't give you intelligence or wisdom. It taught you to hate good men. Now the good men are returning the favor. Here's your women with degrees. Sherry Shepherd, loudmouth, giving black women a bad image everywhere. You have Condoleezza Rice, responsible for the death and destruction and the hatred that people carry towards us from, the Iraq stuff, while screwing the president, which most people believe, in the White House. That's just a belief. Believe that scandal stuff was made based on her. And then, we all know this woman down at the bottom, right? Good poetry, right? Married a white man. All right? Want to write black poetry, but married a white man. Right? You don't belong. Once you marry a white man, you don't belong to the black community. The woman go wherever the man is. That's the community the woman belongs to. All right. That's why white men leave white women alone that have black mixed children, because they be like, all right, you belong to the black man now, and that's a risk that a lot of white women are willing to take for love, but for prestige, to get ahead, and for money. Oh, y'all do anything for money or good hair. For your good hair for your baby. So yeah, all you Wonder Woman women. Ladies and gentlemen, here's my final thoughts. I was just admonishing the 14-year-old, and I say black women complain about men, and there ain't no good men and stuff like that. And then I said, why do you think black women cannot find any good men? And I want you to hear from out of the mouth of Babe. She ain't no babe, but she's pretty intelligent. Her answer. Go ahead. What was your answer? You don't have to give your name.
I said because they're searching for the bad ones.
And so with that said, I'm out.